Hello amazing developers, and how are you this wonderful day? I hope that you are all amazing and you are super relaxed, so you're ready to watch this last video on FreeCodeCamp D3 challenges. If this is your first time into my channel, my name is Eleftheria and I'm doing some FreeCodeCamp challenges. I will leave them in the description box if you'd like to check them out, and also I've done a lot of FreeCodeCamp projects. I will also leave them in the description box. Okay, submit and going to the next challenge. I think that I have a lot of energy today, but this is always good. So use dynamic scales. D3 min and max methods are useful to help set the scale, and we did the min and max in our previous video, so go check this out. Given a complex data set, one priority is to set the scale so the visualization fits the SVG container's width and height. You want all the data plotted inside the SVG canvas so it's visible on the web page. Okay. And then we have an example and says the domain method passes information to the scale about the raw data values for the plot. The range method gives it information about the actual space on the web page for the visualization. Okay, and we have the example here. But now let's see what we have to do. It says use the y-scale variable to create a linear y-axis scale. The domain should start at 0 and go the maximum y value in the set. The range should use the SVG height and include a padding. Note, remember to keep the plot right side up. Okay, we know that. So let's just see what we have to do. It says padding between the SVG canvas boundary and the plot. Okay, then we have to create an X and Y scale. Okay, so we have the X scale, but now I think that you have to do maybe the same thing for the Y. I'm going to copy this one and then add your code below this line. So we'll add it here. We'll leave a space. And now the first thing that I will change is, of course, this to X. And then we have X scale, D3 scale linear, okay. Then domain, and the domain should be like 0, D3, max, dataset, D and D, but not 0 here, but 1. And in the next line I have the range, and okay, I think I must change this one. This should be like age for height, and then minus padding, and after that I'm also going to have padding. Okay, then the next thing says const scale. Okay, I'm going to delete this one. I don't think I need it. Add your code above this line. Oops, maybe a semicolon here. Do I have to do anything else? No? Okay, I thought it would be maybe harder. But let's see if everything is correct. Oh, and it is. I'm happy about that. And we have use a predefined scale to place elements. With the scale set up, it's time to map the scatter plot again. The scales are like processing functions that turn the X and Y raw data into values that fit and render correctly on the SVG canvas. They keep the data within the screen's plotting area. You set the coordinate attribute values for an SVG shape with a scaling function. This includes X and Y attributes for rect or text elements, or CX and CY for circles. And then we also have an example. Okay, use X scale and Y scale to position both the circle and text shapes into the SVG canvas. For the circles, apply the scales to set the CX and CY attributes. Give them a radius of 5 units too. For the text elements, apply the scales to set the X and Y attributes. The labels should be offset to the right of the dots. To do this, add 10 units to the X data value before passing it to the scale. Okay, we have a lot of information here, so let me see what we can do. The first thing is going to be here. So line 38. First, we have to add an attribute, and the attribute, of course, will have a CX. Now the cx will also have a d, but this time the d is going to be like x scale, and then inside the parentheses I'm going to have a d, and the d is going to have a 0 position. Then I'm going to copy this line because I'm quite bored to write everything again. Oops, sorry for that. And then cy, I'm going to have a d, and then of course this also would be y, and the position should be 1 and not 0. Then we shouldn't forget to add the attribute for the radius, because I remember in a previous video I had forgot it and then we had a mistake. Anyway, so this is our radius and this is going to be 5. Okay, and what else do we have to do? Then we have the SVG, select all text with data to dataset, enter, and append this text. Now the text with D, and it has a comma and a 1, so this is something that we wrote actually before. And now we have to add the attribute, and again is going to be, no, I will just paste the same thing and let me see what's different. So I have an attribute, but this time because it's text, it's not circle or something, we have just x and not cx. Then we have as usual the d, but this time the d is going to be inside the parentheses because you have an x scale, and then we have the d 0, and then as the description says, we should add 10 units. Okay, and then let me do a quick copy here. Well, not very quick anyway. Copy this and paste it, but this time with a y value. So we will have a y here, then d, and here I will have also a y scale, and the position as always when we are referring to y is 1. This time I don't think that I will have to add anything. A semicolon, and let me read the description to see if we have anything more. I don't think so, so let's run the tests. Okay, we are missing something. Maybe here we have D+, and let me check that again, and now we are correct, obviously. Okay, let me do one more challenge here. It says add axes to the visualization, and another way to improve the schedule plot is to add an x-axis and a y-axis. I would agree on that. So D3 has two methods, axis left and axis bottom, to render the x and y axes respectively. Okay, and then we have an example. So the next step is to render the axes on the SVG canvas. To do so, you can use a general SVG component, the G element. The G stands for group. Okay, we got this. Unlike rect, circle, and text, an axis is just a straight line when it's rendered, because it is a simple shape using G works. Okay, so the last step is to apply a transform attribute to position the axis on the SVG canvas in the right place. Otherwise, the line would render along the border of SVG canvas and wouldn't be visible. SVG supports different types of transforms, but positioning an axis needs translate. When it's applied to the G element, it moves the whole group over the down by the given amount. So we have also an example with transform and translate. I think that this is super important, and if you are into D3, you should understand very good these properties with attribute and transform translate, because I'm sure that you are going to use them a lot. The above code places the x-axis at the bottom of the SVG canvas. Then it's passed an argument to the call function. Okay, so we also have here the call function. The y-axis works in the same way, except the translate argument is in the form of x and 0, because translate is a string in the attribute method above. You can use concatenation to include the variable values for its argument. Okay, and let me see what we have to do. The schedule plot now has an x-axis, and we can see it right here. So create a y-axis in a variable named y-axis using the axis left method. Then render the axis using a G element. Make sure to use a transform attribute to translate the axis by the amount of padding units right and 0 units down. Remember to call the axis. Okay, I'm sure that I will remember that. Let me see the code. We have SVG with circle and text, but then we have these lines here that says add your code below this line and add your code above this line. So I guess I will have to change this one. I will copy this line, then go to undefined and just paste it. So we have G3, but this is y-axis. Okay, so G3 axis bottom, and okay, let me do some changes. First of all, this, and secondly, this shouldn't be axis bottom, but it should be axis and then left. Okay, what else? Then we have the SVG with G and attribute transform, translate 0 h minus padding, and we're closing this. So we have a call the x axis. Okay, but now it says that we have to do something similar. I'm going to copy this one, because now I think that I know what I have to do. And we will have G, the transform, the translate with 0 and h and padding, but I'm going to call the y-axis because we have an x and of course a y-axis. Okay guys, we did that. Yes, I hope you like the data visualization challenges. I hope you like the way I solved these challenges. If you have any question, please leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer it. And also, if you like this kind of content, then just please like, share and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. This is going to be the last video on FreeCodeCamp. Thank you so much for the support that you gave me all this time. And yeah, see you in the next video. Have an amazing day. Bye.